Your show now, press 1 to hear me.
Your show is scheduled to start in 30 seconds. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
ready, guys.
All right, sound check, sound check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me know if you guys can hear me in la chat. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat, and we will launch this murfur. Let me know, blah, blah. All right, appreciate y'all. A woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn. You lost your edge, she lost attraction for you. That's how it works. What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated? Men cannot afford to get complacent in relationships. Get your fat ass off the couch, start lifting weights, and learn game. You're welcome.
And now your man, Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 846th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of toxic masculinity and misogyny. As it looks like my moving camera, for whatever reason, it just, I don't know. I seem to be having a lot of trouble with it. But no matter, we are here. We are live. We are ready to rock and roll. We are ready to rock and roll. Boy, that was weird as a mofo. Holy moly. It is Tuesday, April 12th of 2022. It is good to have you guys in today. As always, we are multi-streaming live to multiple platforms. Twitch, Facebook, MGTOW.tv, Blankosphere.tv, YouTube, and of course in crystal clear high-resolution 4K to SharpeStream, which is the only independently owned and operated live streaming platform in this community. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching from, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your daily routine. I wanted to start my dating show breakdowns again today, but for whatever reason, Peacock, neither Peacock or Netflix wants to play the actual video. I can hear the audio, but the video won't play. And this is on all browsers. This is on Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. So this is clearly some sort of software issue on my end, which is quite upsetting because I paid nearly $15,000 fucking dollars on this computer so I wouldn't have these issues. So Dev is going to troubleshoot it tonight after Bowling League. And hopefully she will have things squared away by the time we go live tomorrow. My apologies for having this happen, guys. You guys know that there are a lot of moving parts to what I do, and the fact is that not everything works perfectly every single time, every single day. So bear with me, bear with us as we try to work this minor technical issue out and bring you guys the kind of quality content you've come to expect from us. If you have any suggestions on what to do, how to troubleshoot this particular issue, don't put it in the chat. Don't put it in the chat because I don't want that to be what this is about. But shoot me an email. Shoot me an email, tsr@donovansharpe.com, tsr@donovansharpe.com, to let me know. All my techie tech heads out there. If you guys have any ideas as to how to proceed and get past this particular issue, I would greatly appreciate that, to be sure. Let me make sure everything is good to go here. Got it. This is interesting, man. All of a sudden, all of my tech has gone absolutely haywire. I don't know why this is, but looks like all right. Good. Looks like I'm good and live here. So all right, perfect. All right, so we're looking good. We're looking good online. I'm happy to report that, which is also very good. Shout out to my snipers on the Sharpe stream side: Dre Raven, J Blaze 11, Hellfong, and Apollo 137. Appreciate you guys, and of course the lovely and talented Devin. Shout out to my sharpshooters over on the YouTube side. Jimmy Herbs says, we out here like an imprint in gray sweatpants that I may or may not be wearing right now. Average Man Unplugged, good to see you. C-Dub is in the house, good to see you in here. Jay Sean Harris says, by the way, Akron, Ohio, in here 29. Anyone near? By the way, I'd like to send a special shout out to Jay Sean Harris. He told me that he got into a little bit of a dispute with friend of the show, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Friend of the show. We teach unity here, not divisiveness. So he got into a little bit of a tiff with O'Shea, and O'Shea ended up calling him a fanboy because he was over there on Fresh and Fit, whatever. O'Shea, said something to the effect of, "Oh, I know why you said what you said. You're a fanboy, blah 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 blah." And then I think Jay Sean told me that he said, "Good luck getting Donovan and or Fresh and Fit to do collaborations with you." Well, he didn't really need any luck because Jay Sean is he's the official videographer of the CME. He has taken care of all of the most of the promotional work, most of the promotional activity. And of course, when he gets down to Miami, he will definitely be collaborating with Myron and Fresh. So listen, man, be careful who you talk trash about. Be careful who you talk trash about. No man is an island, man. No man is an island. O'Shea tends to fashion himself a kingmaker. He likes to say things like, if it wasn't for me, then blah, 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 blah. I put Donovan on, da, 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 da. I vehemently disagree with that. I'd have got here with or without him. That's for sure. But just like Jay Sean, man, he'd have got to this point with or without O'Shea. So guys, listen, man, if you ever want to embark in this business, just be very careful with who you collaborate with, because not everybody has the purest of intentions. A lot of people are, it's weird, man. I was actually having a conversation with Jay Sean about this when we were down in Miami filming the CME promotional material. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, I don't like working with people who have an ulterior motive. You know what I mean? It's hard to put this into words, but when I deal with people, I'm straight up about what I'm there for. You know, I'm not playing this 48 laws of power. I'm not playing mind games. I'm not manipulating people. No. This is a mutually beneficial relationship. I provide you with X, you provide me with Y. There's nothing underhanded about anything I've done. And I've noticed that a lot of guys in this particular space operate that way. You guys know who they are. They know who they are. But just be very careful. Be very, very careful about dealing with people who like to talk about how they discovered someone or created someone, this and that and the third. Just be very, very careful about that, because they always try to stab you in the back in the end. And O'Shea is clearly one of those people, as Jay Sean managed to be able to get a collaboration with me. And when he's down in Florida, we'll definitely do some collabs with Fresh and Fit. So guys, be sure to subscribe to Jay Sean's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. Support. Listen, man, he's a young, hardworking brother. And if you guys know anything about me, I love working with young, hardworking, hungry young men. I really, really do. It's the reason why I started working with MLD. It's the reason I started working with Myron Gaines. And it's the reason I started working with Kevin Samuels, even though he's not young. But I like working with guys. I like working with guys who have a good work ethic. I like working with guys who are not afraid of hard work. And guys like Kevin Savo, Jay Sean Harris, Kevin Samuels, Fresh Prince CEO, Myron Gaines. That's the main reason why I collab with people. Not because you ask me to, but because I see that you have good intentions. I see that you're a hardworking individual. I see what I see is what I get. You're not trying to play some backhanded mind game to try to do something later. No, man, I'm just a straight up type of dude, man, and I like working with other straight up types of dudes. All right. So today I'm going to discuss Rihanna and the bad example that she sets for women. So Rihanna is pregnant with her first child, and the father of her first child is allegedly A$AP Rocky, right? But men who watch me and other content creators like me know and understand that we cannot take anything for granted in terms of any given baby's paternity. Let me know if that background music is too loud, too soft, whatever. Now, I would love to say that I am certain that A$AP Rocky is indeed the father, but it would not surprise me in the least bit if he weren't, simply because of the way Rihanna moves and what she endorses as a woman. So, assuming A$AP Rocky is the father, let's take a look at an article. About her pregnancy. This article was submitted by Devin, so shout out to her. After I discuss this article, I'm actually going to talk about another article that was written over on MadameNoir.com, giving readers a bunch of crazy reasons why more women should date like Rihanna. And to say that this article is poisonous to women, guys, this is a gross understatement. Pardon me. And I'm going to open up the phone lines here very shortly to give you guys an opportunity to jump in the phone queues and give me your thoughts. Because based on yesterday's show, man, you guys really impressed me with your thoughts. You really did. You impressed me with your different points of view, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm always happy to open up the phone lines there. Let me reconnect and get this camera back to where it needs to be. Holy smokes, man. I do apologize for the snafu there. I don't know why I'm just going to have to turn off that particular camera. Sorry about this, guys. I don't know why this is happening like it is, but sometimes these things happen. There we go. There we are. All right, well, we got a blank part on the screen now. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, so let's go ahead and get started with this first article. It was published on Us Weekly really just a few hours ago. Was written by Riley Cardoza, and the title of the article is Rihanna describes finding out about pregnancy, telling A$AP Rocky, "I wouldn't say this was planned." So let's quickly go through this particular article and break this down, shall we? So the article starts out. It says, the sweetest of surprises, pregnant Rihanna and A$AP Rocky weren't necessarily trying to get pregnant when they conceived their first baby. "I wouldn't say we were planning to start a family," the singer 34 said in her May Vogue magazine cover published on Tuesday, April 12th, "but certainly not planning against it. I don't know. I want to see who they are in the world, who they become, because I'm just here to keep them on the rails, a passenger as much as the driver." The lingerie designer awaits her infant's arrival. The mom-to-be is aware of the possibilities of postpartum depression. "Will I feel out of control emotionally?" the expectant star asked. "Those are the stories I hear from other women that scare me." From now on, the makeup mogul is focusing on her, quote, celebratory maternity sale, gushing about how much fun she's having dressing up her bump. Okay, I'm not going to let that part disappear because my body is changing, Rihanna said. "I'm hoping that we were able to redefine what's considered, quote, decent for pregnant women. My body is doing incredible things right now, and I'm not going to be ashamed of that." The Fenty Beauty creator revealed in January that she and the New York native have a little one on the way, and the actress has been showing off her bare belly at Paris Fashion Week events, Los Angeles dinner dates, and more. She and Rocky sparked romance speculation in 2019. The longtime friends kept their relationship private until the record producer called Rihanna the one. In a May 2021 GQ interview, the businesswoman recently made headlines rocking a massive diamond on her ring finger. Rihanna gave a glimpse into her and Rocky's transition from pals to partners in Tuesday's interview, saying, quote, "People don't get out of the friend zone very easily with her." Oh, boy. She added, I certainly took a while to get over how much I know him and how much he knows me, but we also know how much trouble we can land each other in." Okay, I guess that's kind of where it ends. So what I wanted to point out here, guys, is that Rihanna is glorifying carrying before she marries. We say in this community all the time, we say, you know, in this community all the time, marry before you carry. Marry before you carry. Well, Rihanna is carrying before she marries, and she's telling everyone how wonderful and excited, how wonderful it is and how excited she is. But this is a bad precedent, guys. It's a bad precedent because women and girls look up to Rihanna. They look up to Rihanna. And I discussed this when I was talking about Shan Booty when I was in Miami this past weekend. We got women who are following in her footsteps, but they will not get the same outcomes she gets because A, Shan Booty is much better looking than most women. B, Shan Booty has much more clout than most women. And C, these women have nothing in common other than the fact that they're both black. They don't have anything in common with Rihanna or with Shan Booty. Well, Rihanna is exactly the same way. She's having a child out of wedlock. Just because she has a ring doesn't mean she's married, right? I mean, look, Devin has a ring that she got off Amazon for $30. We're certainly not married, right? Marry before you carry. But women are going to watch this. They're going to look at this article. They're going to watch her whole journey, and they're going to think, oh, you know what? I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing. I can get passed around in my 20s, date a bunch of guys, then settle for someone who will have me. Well, number one, A$AP Rocky is certainly not a quote-unquote beta male provider, right? Just like the Sierra prayer. Sierra, she got passed around by 50 Cent and Trey Songz and everybody in the industry and managed to lock down Russell Wilson. That doesn't happen in real life, guys. There are not that many Russell Wilsons in the world. There are not that many Russell Wilsons in the world. I'll tell you this, there are far fewer A$AP Rockies. You see, women who have men in the friend zone, the guys who are in that friend zone, and the phone lines are opened up, guys. call in with your thoughts. Women who have men in the friend zone, none of those men are worth anything. They're not worth anything. They're just beta male orbiters who tell her what she wants to hear, etc., etc. Well, fortunately for Rihanna, she has guys in the friend zone who are all worth into the 6, 7, and 8 figures. So of course she's going to be irresponsible, right? But I want to point one more thing out before we go to the next article. This is insane. She says, I would say we were planning to start a family. The singer 34 said in her May Vogue magazine cover, blah, 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 but certainly not planning against it. I don't know when I ovulate or any of that bleep. We just had fun, and then it was just there on the test. This is just her being sexually irresponsible. I don't know. It sounds like she planned to have the kid. If you're having unprotected sex and you're not on birth control, then a reasonable expectation to get pregnant should be there. What this is conveying to young women and girls all over the world who follow Rihanna is that, no, I'm not going to look at my ovulatory shifts. I'm not going to pay attention to when I'm ovulating. I'm just going to have fun. And oh, there it is on the test. Listen, man, having a child is a huge responsibility. This is why I don't have any. I do not want any part. I do not want any parts of having any children at all, because I know it is a huge undertaking and it is a huge responsibility. Now, it sounds to me like Rihanna kind of knew what she was doing. It sounded like she wanted to have this baby. But for her to imply that, it just magically happened, that's irresponsible, because girls, again, are going to look at this and they're going to think, well, you know what? I can be irresponsible. And just voila, there it is on the test. It does not work that way. What women have to understand is that by following people like Rihanna, the Kardashians, Shan Booty, is that the reason why they are where they are is because of extenuating circumstances that make them the gross exceptions to the rule, the gross outliers. Rihanna's an outlier. Shan Booty's an outlier. But their audience, they're not outliers. These are average, everyday, rank and file women. And what Rihanna is doing, what Shan Booty is doing, she is essentially giving advice to women who have the same advantages that she does. Most women don't. And that's where most women get led astray. So I'm going to take a look at another article. And the phone lines are open, guys. The phone lines are open. 516-387-1987. I'd love to get your thoughts, especially on this article, because this article is really, really I think this is really going to open a lot of people's eyes about what's really going on out here in these streets. And for whatever reason, it's not allowing me to read the article. Some more technical difficulties here. Let me see if I can hit the refresh button. This is insane. I can't believe that this is happening. There we go. Jesus Christ, man. Ay. All right, well, let's continue here. So this particular article is entitled, Why More Women Should Date Like Rihanna. And it was written by Sonia Eskridge on a website called Madame Noir. Apparently, I can't scroll up, otherwise it's going to reset everything. So give me a second here. Maybe it's funny. Maybe it knows that I'm trying to break down this article, and it is, and it's throwing salt in the game. Okay. Either way, let's go ahead and get started here, because I think this has a lot of gems. And again, the phone lines are open. It starts, Rihanna may have one of the hottest love lives around. The article starts, as everyone tries to figure out who she's with and how long it will last. Despite her rough past, Rihanna has been giving single girls everywhere some love lessons as a living example. When considering her dating patterns, we picked up on a few gems on how to date like her. So right out of the gate, Sonia Eskridge, Sonia's glorifying promiscuity by characterizing Rihanna's love life as one of the hottest around. Translation: Rihanna's been with a lot of guys and has had a very turbulent, volatile love life. Gentlemen, this is nothing to be proud of, okay? This is nothing to be proud of. Miss Eskridge, like most female authors who write about dating, is leading girls astray when they characterize bed hopping as hot. Young girls read this and they think, yeah, I've been with a lot of guys. I've had a turbulent, volatile love life just like Rihanna. And if she's okay, then I'm okay. If it's okay for her, then surely it must be okay for me to do. Then she makes trying to figure out who she's with and how long it will last a badge of honor. No, this is not a badge of honor. Not knowing who she's with this week isn't anything to be proud of. People wondering how long a relationship will last is something a woman should not be dignified to say or think about herself. When a girl gets with a guy and her friends wonder, how long is this one going to last? They're not asking a question. Okay, they don't really care about how long it's going to last because, number one, girls don't really care about each other. Number two, they're making a statement by asking a question. You see, guys, when people around a female ask this question, what they're really saying is that she gets around. They're saying she has men in and out of her life at all times and that her bedroom is a revolving door. And if women are honest with you, they will tell you that if they find out someone asked, well, how long is this one going to last? They would feel anything but honored. Okay, asking this question about any given guy a girl is with quite literally says that she is a 304. Period. End of discussion. And that's exactly what Rihanna is. Now, the statement Rihanna has been giving single girls everywhere some love lessons as a living example. Guys, this is extremely dangerous for a lot of obvious reasons. But the main reason is something that I say every single time. Black women want to compare themselves and the plight of everyday sisters to celebrities. You ain't Rihanna. You're not Beyonce. You're not Halle Berry. You're not Kerry Washington. You're not Michelle Obama. You're not a celebrity. Now, some might ask, well, Donovan, they're obviously not celebrities. So other than the obvious, why is being a living example for regular girls dangerous? I'll tell you why. You see, Rihanna's been around, like most girls. They do have that in common. Rihanna's had some heartbreak. Also, something that average non-celebrity girls have been through. And of course, Rihanna's been alpha widowed. We'll get into that later. That's 3 for 3. But here's the main difference between Rihanna and Shaniqua. Shout out to Fresh and Fit. Rihanna's dated high-value men. Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio, J.R. Smith, Ashton Kutcher, Travis Scott, Shia LaBeouf. The list goes on and on. And while sleeping around is detrimental to a woman's physical, mental, and psychological health, regardless of a man's value, that damage is far worse when giving it up to low-value guys. Yes, Rihanna has lost the ability to pair bond, and no, she'll never have a good relationship. This is bad for her, but it is much worse for average girls. Don't get me wrong, guys. Don't mistake me. Sleeping around is bad for women no matter what. But at least Rihanna didn't have to deal with her dude taking her car to see his baby mama or his side piece while she's at work. She didn't have to deal with men who have had more than one apostrophe in their names, which tells you all you need to know about their mothers. Rihanna didn't have to deal with dudes being at her house all day, smoking weed and playing video games with his homeboys. She didn't have to worry about messing with broke-ass niggas who are always hitting her up for money. No, all these guys she messed with have money. They have their lives together. And sleeping with all these high-status men wasn't good for her. Even though that wasn't good for her, the extent of the damage is not quite as bad as dealing with Pookies and Ray Rays and Chads and Tyrones. DiCaprio didn't leave her broke, guys. Travis Scott didn't get a credit card in Rihanna's name. J.R. Smith didn't crash her car and then disappear. So while all these girls think that Rihanna is the pinnacle of dating success for women, I got news for you. She ain't. And following her example will leave these girls broke because Ryan Phillippe ain't checking for these broads, which leads me to the biggest reason why Rihanna lead black women astray. Talked about this yesterday. If this pisses you off, call me up about it and let me know. Black women can't date white dudes like that. I'll repeat that. Black women can't date white dudes like that. Black women can get all excited about the fact that she dated guys like Leonardo DiCaprio, Shia LaBeouf, Ryan Phillippe, and Ashton Kutcher. They can get all excited about the fact that Meghan Markle married Prince Harry. But like I've said at least 6,000 times, The average white dude ain't checking for sisters, and that's all there is to it. Just because Rihanna can do it doesn't mean you can. Just because Stacey Dash can do it doesn't mean you can. Just because you say you know a black woman who dates white guys on the regular doesn't mean you can. You see, the difference between you and the girl you know who can date white guys is that black girl is hot. That black girl is submissive. That black girl is feminine. That black girl knows her place. The average black woman is none of these things, as was demonstrated on last night's phone calls. So expecting to have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed chads lined up around the block to get with you because you see celebrities doing it, it is going to continue to disappoint you. For heaven's sake, sisters, stop believing that you can do things you really cannot do. White dudes do not want you. Deal with it. Okay, let's go to number 1 here. Number 1, as I'm waiting for this to load. There we go. Rihanna has a rotation. It says a girl's got to have her options, and Rihanna is no different. Before her current relationship with Saudi billionaire Hassan Jameel, Rihanna had a rotation of men. This meant she had plenty of options. This is another female writer who needs an editor for male companionship when she decided that she wanted to enjoy it. Similarly, single girls should also have several men in rotation. Dating is a numbers game after all. Entertaining several suitors at a time until you decide to be exclusive with one is just stacking the deck in your favor and being efficient about it. Sweet mother of God. No wonder today's women are dumpster fires. What Miss Eskridge just said here is the quintessential example of women thinking that dating like men is what they should be doing, but then they wonder why things never work out. Of course it didn't work out. You're a woman. And when you date like a man as a woman, you'll end up alone because you're supposed to date like a woman. Men should have a rotation. Men should be entertaining several suitors at a time until we decide to be exclusive with one if we decide to. This strategy works for men because we're men. But Donovan, women can do this too. If a girl wants to have a rotation, she can have one. 100% correct. Women can have rotations. Nobody is stopping them from sleeping around, and it is not against the law. So why does it supposedly work for men and not women? And yes, guys, I said supposedly on purpose because there are way too many women who say supposedly instead of supposedly, including the lovely and talented Devin. So I may as well depict the typical female as accurately as possible. Anyway, the answer to this question is obvious. Physical intimacy affects men and women differently. This is why men who sleep around do not suffer physical, mental, and psychological damage, and women do. We as men, we are physically and biologically designed to sleep with a lot of women. Women are not designed to do the same with men. Sperm is cheap, eggs are expensive, which means that sperm isn't nearly as valuable as eggs, which is exactly why the creator, whoever he or she or it is, designed men and women differently. Women are treating their eggs like sperm, gentlemen. They're treating their eggs like they're cheap by sleeping around and getting Noit-Robas spelled backwards. Women simply are not designed to sleep around. They are designed to procreate with one man. Men are designed to procreate with many women. This is the reason women suffer when they sleep around and men do not. This is Mother Nature. This is biology. A stud horse is used to impregnate many female horses. But a female horse doesn't take sperm loads from 12 horses. She takes it from one. A lion propagates a herd. A lioness doesn't have the cubs of 5 different lions. Our ability to reason as humans, that's what separates us from every other species on the earth. But it's also why women think that they can act like men between the sheets. Women can't stack the deck in their favor by sleeping around. They can stack the deck in their favor by learning domestic skills, protecting their virginity, their chastity, being kind, feminine, submissive, etc. Those kinds of girls have more guys lined up for them than girls who have a rotation. Because by the time girls with a rotation are ready to settle down, guys in their rotation aren't around. You want to know where they are? You want to know where they are? The guys in her rotation, they're after the 19-year-old virgin who lives with her parents, who knows how to cook, clean, loves to do it, and wants to start a family instead of a career. So listen, sisters, go on and follow Rihanna's lead and see what happens. Oh, wait a minute. You already have. You've just chosen to ignore it. Let's go to number 2. This thing is loading like Windows 95. Number 2, Rihanna has standards. Rihanna, it starts, has been linked with a number of men since her nasty breakup with Breezy. One thing I notice is that the majority of them are all on her level. Rihanna is not just going to step out with some random. She's going to spend her time with men who have something going for themselves and the self-confidence to show it. There's nothing wrong with having standards as long as they are reasonable. Wow, is that rationale in this article? Single women should know what they want and not feel bad about expecting possible bays to meet their expectation. Jesus Christ. When you let go of your standards, you'll just accept anyone. And that often doesn't work out well for women because it allows men to put in minimal effort. Now, this is where Miss Eskridge has a point. Kind of, and I'll tell you why. A staple in what I like to call 5% awareness, RP awareness, is understanding that women will not date men who have equal or lesser value than they do. Okay. Women want to date up. They want to marry up. They want to fuck up. Rihanna's a woman, and because all women are like that, meaning that all women operate under the same imperatives when seeking mates, we're not surprised that she's dating men on her level in terms of value, monetarily or otherwise. Now, to be clear, Rihanna doesn't have the same value as any of the men she's dated. They've all had higher value than her because, well, they're men. Male celebrities who sleep around have far more value than female celebrities who sleep around by virtue of biology. Women value men who have a lot of bedroom experience with women. Men do not value women who have a lot of bedroom experience with men. Yes, women who sleep around get the attention from high-value men, but they never take these women seriously, which is why Rihanna has such a long list of exes, which is, again, nothing to be proud of. Anyway, Sonia hits the mark again when she says that there's nothing wrong with having standards. I 100% agree with that. Women must have standards when dating. But here's where she misses the mark. Number 1, women have grossly unreasonable standards, as demonstrated on Fresh and Fit night in, night out. And number 2, women these days don't get to have standards. Let me say that again. Women these days don't get to have standards. If you have fucked men into the double digits, then you forfeit your right to have standards, sweetheart. Women can say all they want. They can say all they want to that they're not going to settle. But unfortunately for most of them, it's too late. The 19-year-old virgin who lives with her parents, she can have standards. The 20-year-old who doesn't sleep around because she's waiting for a husband, she gets to have standards. A 31-year-old who has 3 kids by 3 men doesn't get to have standards. The 34-year-old who's had 6 Noit Roba spelled backwards and has 6-figure debt doesn't get to have standards. Now, Rihanna can have standards because she's still relatively young and she still retains some of her beauty. And she doesn't have a bunch of kids or debt. But she ain't 24 anymore, guys. She's 34. And while she can still attract high-value men at her age, she won't be able to for too much longer, which is why she decided to be irresponsible with A$AP Rocky. In a few short years, guys, you mark my words, in a few short years, she'll be acting like Charlize Theron, who's complaining about men not wanting to date her and being asked to play Wonder Woman's mother. Now, Rihanna's net worth of over $500 million, that affords her the ability to be free of the baggage that weighs down most women her age on the dating market. She can have Noit Robas. Okay, she obviously doesn't have debt, and she can afford anti-aging procedures like HGH, plastic surgery, Botox, etc. But guess what? As I've said many times before, the average woman doesn't have these kinds of resources, which is why the average 34-year-old American woman can't have the same standards as 34-year-old Rihanna does. And this, of course, is the reason black women need to quit comparing themselves to celebrities. Their lives are very different from yours, ladies, and your outcomes will also be very different from theirs. Rihanna can sleep around and still have a high-value man after her at 34 years old, at least for now. But like I said, guys, like I said, ladies, you ain't Rihanna. The only way you can have standards is to refrain from getting passed around, which, unfortunately for most of you, you can't or won't do it. Let's go to number 3. This is actually a funny one. Number 3, Rihanna sets boundaries. Okay. After years of flirtation and a semi-situationship, Drake found himself out in the cold. Why? Because he decided that presenting Rihanna with an award was the perfect time to confess his love for her in front of millions of people. Some girls might think that's really sweet, but Rihanna definitely did not. She and Drake haven't really been cool since the incident in 2016, but he only found out this year. When he crossed the line for her, Rihanna removed him from her rotation. What single women can learn from this is how to figure out your boundaries and enforce them by being decisive about the men you allow to access your time. If a possible bae can't respect your boundaries, you know that it is okay to swiftly shuffle him out of your life. Oh boy. Gentlemen, boundaries, like standards, can only be applied if you have options. No, ladies, having 20 guys in your phone who will come over and feed you a cucumber salad in 3 texts or less is not having options. Having options is having your choice in high-value men. Rihanna has them, you do not. You see, guys, this is why girls always pine for the one that got away. They dump a guy not knowing that he was the highest value guy they will ever get an opportunity to lock down, continue to sleep around for a decade plus, then expect higher value men to commit to them. When that doesn't happen, they regret leaving the guy who was still in medical school. They regret leaving the guy who was still in law school. They regret leaving the guy who was in the beginning stages of starting his own business and wonder what might have been had she stuck around. Anyway, Rihanna can swiftly shuffle men out of her life because she has others lined up, only because she can still attract high-value men at the age of 34. But the average woman cannot attract high-value men at the age of 34, at least not the same caliber of men who throw themselves at her when she was 24. But let's get one thing straight here. Let's get one thing straight. Rihanna's not setting boundaries. She's not setting boundaries. When she shuffles men in and out of her life, she's just getting rid of dudes because she gets bored. She can do this, again, because she's Rihanna. Call Drake whatever you want, guys. Call him a simp, beta, white knight, whatever. Drake's a high-value guy, okay? Just because you're high value doesn't mean you have game. Drake clearly does not, yet he still has women throwing themselves at him. Well, Rihanna's been with enough dudes who have a lot more game than Drake, and eventually his act wore thin on Rihanna, and she ejected him when he tried his little public revelation of being in love with her. That was a punk move. Okay, that was a punk move. Just like men who propose to women publicly, it's cowardly for many reasons, and women know this. Again, Rihanna can do what she does because she's Rihanna, and Rihanna has access to a stable of high-value men. Today's women think they can afford to be picky like Rihanna, but they can't. And when they finally realize this, guys, it's already too late. So ladies, you can just swat away all these guys like you've got all the time in the world. Father Time is undefeated. He will come for Rihanna eventually. He came for Halle Berry. He came for Janet Jackson. And he came for Charlize Theron. It took him a little longer, but eventually he got him. But Father Time comes for the average woman much, much sooner. Never forget that. Number 4, Rihanna's not pressed. Oh, well. Someone once asked Rihanna, it starts, what she's looking for in a man. Instead of giving the reporter a list of qualities any man needs to have in order to even think about stepping to her, as expected, Rihanna told him that she's not looking for a man. Taking a relaxed approach in the search for love is crucial because desperation is not attractive. Potential partners can smell it from a mile away. Besides, if there is any cliche that holds true with annoying consistency, it is that you usually find love when you stop looking for it. When the right one does come along, he'll have to be pretty amazing to catch your attention, which is the kind of man you want. Guys, this is the kind of advice that gets women in big trouble, including Rihanna. A girl who isn't pressed is a girl who is not in a hurry to lock down a man, and this is why we've got a bunch of 30 and 40-somethings racing to freeze their eggs and asking, where have all the good men gone? A woman's true value is measured by the value of the man she can attract, lock down, and start a family with. If a woman has a bunch of babies with a bunch of low-quality ain't shit niggas, then it is correctly assumed that she is a low-value woman. A woman who gets married and has kids with a high-value man is either high-value herself, meaning she's feminine, attractive, meaning not overweight, values traditional masculinity and gender roles, or she's a world-class actress who fooled a man into thinking she's these things. Either way, she's held in higher regard by herself and others. But here's the problem with not being pressed. A woman's dating market value decreases every day, and it decreases rapidly the older she gets. One day, they're young and beautiful and have the world at their feet. The next, they've got crow's feet and a saggy body. It happens just that quickly, which is why we call it the wall. Women hit the wall. We as men, we slowly roll down maybe a 3-degree ramp. Anyway, taking a relaxed approach to dating doesn't work for women because they simply do not have the time to be relaxed about finding a man. However, I will admit that the advice that Miss Estridge is giving is 243% correct. For a man, men have time to be relaxed and not pressed. Men aren't in a rush because we don't have to be. Desperation is not attractive for men, and women can smell that a mile away, just like Rihanna smelled it on Drake. Here's another fallacy. Women of high quality are never desperate. We don't know why they're never desperate. Because they know they have their choice in suitors. They know they have their choice in suitors. That's why they're not really worried about much. Right? And the reason why they have their choice in suitors is because they've refrained from engaging in behaviors that corrode their bodies, their minds, and their souls, like sleeping around, drinking in excess all the time, and doing drugs. Rihanna, gentlemen, is not a woman of quality. She is an aging woman whose best years are clearly behind her, who has a lot of bodies and a lot of money. Her money means that she's less of a financial strain on high-value men because she doesn't have children or debt. But having a sense of urgency as a woman is not desperate, guys. A woman in her prime knows that time is always running out and makes it a priority to lock down a high-value man that's not desperate. That's smart. Sonia's doing what all women do, which is disingenuously exaggerating a state of mind to the point to where it's extreme. Okay? They call a sense of urgency desperation. They call a woman who stays at home with her man on a Friday night as a girl who's under house arrest. The list goes on. Ladies, if you're not relaxed about dating, you're not desperate. Okay? If you have a sense of urgency about finding a man, you're not desperate. You're a woman who has her priorities in line. Ladies, don't let other women shame you into doing what they wish they could do, which is find a man while you're still in your physical prime. Ladies, Rihanna is not pressed, but she should be. And if she should be pressed, then so the fuck should you. Number 5. This is another big one. Number 5, Rihanna has seemingly learned her lesson. Riri may have had some relapses with her ex, Chris Brown, but she seems to have moved on from the crooner these days. He, on the other hand, may still be carrying a torch for her. He reportedly still keeps tabs on her through social media, while she seems to have elevated her taste. Just like Rihanna, single women sometimes need to look for different qualities in a man. You might have a type, but that type may not be a good match for you. Don't keep going for the same guy over and over because you already know how it will end. Women need to look for the qualities that would make a man a good partner for them. Rihanna has absolutely done that from what we can see. Besides, if a handsome billionaire won't get your mind off of a problematic ex, I don't know what will. And finally, gentlemen, we come to the man who alpha widowed her, and that, of course, is your boy Briss Breezy, a.k.a. Chris Brown. Guys, here's the truth. I don't care what nobody says. Chris Brown owns Rihanna. He knows it. She doesn't. This is why she keeps going back to him. Guys, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if she's pregnant with A$AP Rocky's baby or not. Chris Brown's the one dude who doesn't tolerate her nonsense. He's the one dude who checks her when she gets out of pocket. He's the one guy who doesn't act like he's all in love with her. Chris Brown knows he can do without Rihanna, and Rihanna absolutely adores him for it. This is why she can't leave him alone. This is why she keeps having relapses and will have many more even after she has A$AP Rocky's baby. You see, gentlemen, Chris Brown has done what we have called alpha widowed Rihanna. He is the only man who has ever acted like an actual man with her. Now, Sonia Eskridge wants to say that he still carries a torch for her because he still keeps tabs on her through social media. Think about what she just said there. You follow a woman you still carry a torch for on social media. You slide into the DMs of a woman you still carry a torch for, but you keep tabs on your property, guys. Make no mistake, gentlemen, Robin Rihanna Fenty is the property of one Christopher Maurice Brown and always will be. Just like Lonnie Anderson will always be the top property of Burt Reynolds, even though he's 6 feet under. No man will ever make Lonnie feel like Burt did. That's a fact. Whitney Houston was the property of Bobby Brown until the day she died. Sure, Lonnie and Whitney dated around, but they always came back to the men who owned their bodies, their minds, and souls. Rihanna's no different. She can get with all the billionaires and all the A-list celebrities she wants. There will never, and I mean never, be another man who engenders the same visceral arousal within her like Chris Brown. And if you look at your screen, you can see that he knows it. Number 6. Rihanna has the courage to walk away. It's a nice little gif. Kind of a ridiculous walk, but I'm not a fashion guy. There have been rumors that Rihanna split up with her wealthy beau Hassan. Supposedly she dropped him because she got bored of him, but nothing has been confirmed. Just a couple of months ago, there were rumors that she was getting ready to move to Paris for him. For all we know, they could be kicked back on someone's private beach sipping margaritas and cucumber water. But if she has actually dumped him, she continues, this shows that Rihanna is not afraid to leave a relationship when it is no longer working. What we know for sure, though, is that Rihanna is no longer the girl who would hold on to a relationship once it definitely has gone bad. The takeaway for single women here is that they should also distance themselves from men that are no longer good for them. It's not good to cling to a dead relationship. How can you possibly embrace the present or the future when you're still focused on the past? Like the hymn says, no turning back. Single women need to completely leave one relationship before they can give a new one a fair shot. That made absolutely no sense. The heading in this section has positively nothing to do with what she wrote in the body. Having the courage to walk away is having the courage to leave a physically abusive relationship. No, what Sonia Eskridge is doing is she is conflating courage with options, guys. Rihanna doesn't have the courage to walk away. She has the options. She said the same thing in 3 different ways. She said setting boundaries, which we know to mean being selective. She said don't be pressed, which means not having a sense of urgency. And now she says have the courage to walk away, which based on what the paragraph says, means to just leave if you get bored, because she actually said she dropped him because she got bored of him. And women can only leave out of boredom if they have the options. And this, again, is where women go wrong. Women mistake sexual options for relationship options. They think that just because they can get laid anytime they want, that they can be in a relationship anytime they want, and that is simply not true. This is why women in their mid-30s who get 100 matches a day on Tinder are not pressed to find a man, because they assume that because they can get a man's carnal interest at the drop of a hat, that they can also get a man to commit just as quickly. They learned the hard way that this is not the case. But let's go back to her leaving this billionaire because she's bored. You see, gentlemen, Rihanna doesn't know it yet, but she doesn't have too many opportunities with billionaires left, if any at all. She may very well have left the highest value man she'll ever attract. But because she, like most women, mistake a man's carnal desire for his desire to commit, she'll pass up options she can ill afford to pass up. And like most women, she won't realize this until high-value men want nothing to do with her outside of action in the bedroom. Just ask Kim Kardashian. And by the way, you want to know why she got bored of this billionaire? Because he's not Chris Brown. Okay? This billionaire is not the kind of man who can give her the highest of highs and lowest of lows, like Breezy. He's not the kind of man who takes control of her, like Breezy. He's not the kind of man who checks her if she gets out of pocket, like Chris Brown. So while Miss Eskridge can talk about how women should distance themselves from men who are no longer good for them, men in the know, we understand that so long as any given woman is still physically attractive, she won't distance herself from the men who aren't good for them. They only distance themselves when they have to, meaning that those no good men don't want anything to do with her anymore, really, just based on her age. So yeah, Rihanna's gonna go running back to Chris Brown, and yeah, Chris Brown probably take her back. But mark my words. Mark my words. There will come a day. Well, she'll slide into his DMs 6 months after another messy breakup and another couple of rounds on the carousel, and he doesn't respond. That will be the day she finally realizes the party's over. So ladies, go on and follow in the footsteps of celebra sluts like Rihanna, Taylor Swift, the Kardashians, Amber Rose. Everything is all fine and dandy until it's not. The fall from peak physical attractiveness is precipitous, unflattering, and sudden. And if you don't want to end up like Rihanna will, do not follow this advice. And that, as they say, is the memo. So the phone lines are open, guys. The phone lines are open. 516-387-1987. 516-387-1987. It is my contention that Rihanna, she is a bad role model. She is a bad influence on today's women. If you agree, give me a call. If you disagree, give me a call, and we can have a discussion. Let me open this up quickly here. Let's see what we got here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. 481 of you watching. Guys, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I'm going to read your super chats here before we start taking phone calls here. CH with the $5 super chat says, have you heard that Cam Newton is under fire for saying he wants a traditional woman? Modern women only seem to want tradition when it benefits them. Yeah, my kid brother actually sent me a link to Cam Newton talking about that. That was funny. That was really funny. Of course he's going to catch a bunch of heat. It's fucking Cam Newton. DJ B Fit, $5 says, this will end up like Nick and Mariah. This is nothing new. Totally agree. Totally agree. Agree 100%. 516-387-1987. 516-387. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Give me a second here, guys. I want to make sure the software is good to go. There we go. 516-387-1987. Let us go to Jay Blaze in Maine. Jay Blaze in Maine, you're on Live at Donovan. What's on your mind?
Hey, so I was listening to Patrick Bet David.
Yeah.
And he had a point where you have the top like salesman or the top guy, and if you have a good role model, it'll bleed through. Like take Tom Brady from the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
He had masculine traits, drive, winner, and it bled through that locker room. And so you had in the 90s and 2000s, you had Jessica Simpson and Britney Spears before they became like train wrecks.
Yeah.
But they bled through with purity and that stuff, and it bled through the young women. So you had much more pure women.
Yeah.
But now we have Rihanna, we have Cardi B, and we have Nicki Minaj.
Yep.
Who are tatted up hood rats.
Yep. That's exactly right.
This is why in Japan and in Korea, all their idols, they tell them you do not date. You stay as virginal as possible.
Yep.
Because that bleeds through to their society.
It does, man. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think it's Japan that, I don't think it's necessarily Japan that censors the internet. I think it might be China, but there are certain countries that censor the internet, especially when it comes to womanist propaganda. Because feminism it destroys families, it destroys countries. To me, feminism is a culture of death. It really, really is a culture of death, man. I'll give you the last word, Jay Blaze.
They're locusts.
Yes.
They're locusts.
Yes.
And it just, the idols, like women are very susceptible for media.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they try and make that their idols as pure as possible, because that's the best case for women.
That's exactly right.
And thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. Jay Blaze in Maine, I appreciate you calling in. 516-387-1987. Let's go to Apollo in Pittsburgh. Apollo, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
All right, Donovan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself? Wait, I just asked that. What's on your mind?
Just calling in, like you were saying, I definitely think like you were saying, the Rihanna thing, sets a bad example for black women. But also, I think the other women that they looked at, like Jay Blaze mentioned, probably like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, like you said, Sierra, Lizzo, I even think Janet Jackson, Serena Williams, because you're looking at them, they set an example. Janet having a baby at 50, so that's making women think, oh, I can have a kid later in life. Oh, Serena, she got, with a white man where most black women can't, but she's Serena, they're not.
Right.
Then they point to Will and Jada as they pointed to Will and Jada as the perfect example of black love, but we see how that turned out.
Yep.
And then they even point to, Beyonce, well, you should be like her, but they never really talk about her and Jay-Z.
No, they don't.
Because we know Jay-Z cheated on her.
That's right.
Yet she stayed and still, in a sense, follows his lead. So they only want to point to examples where the woman is on top, but the ones they point to, if you look beneath the surface, are kind of train wrecks.
Yep.
When you look at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Apollo. You are the father of 2 daughters, and we have fathers who watch the show. How in the world are you going to keep your daughters from, how can I put this? How can you keep your daughters from being influenced by the poisonous message from girls like Cardi B and Taylor Swift and the Kardashians? That's got to be incredibly difficult, doesn't it?
I mean, it is, because especially with the music like Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, they hear that stuff, they're listening to it. And as much as it's like I know they listen to it, I don't try to stop them, because all they're going to do is, if I try to stop them, just sneak and do it.
Right.
I say, fine, listen to it, but then it's kind of like, okay, you can listen to what they say, don't be as they are.
Right.
Because all that's going to lead to is, destruction. Yeah, if you have that money and fame. But I tell them, because they're like, oh, but they're famous. I'm like, yeah, but their lives behind the scenes are a train wreck. We just see what's on screen. You don't see them going home at night probably crying crying into a bottle of something, taking some kind of pills, taking some kind of narcotic. And then me being here as their dad, despite being divorced from their mother, they get to see an example. Okay, if I get out of line, my dad's going to put his foot in my ass.
Good.
If I'm a male or female. So I think that they get that place. They see me working hard, and even though me and my ex aren't together, we get along very well, co-parent very well. So they see that example of like, okay, these are two people that can coexist, get along despite not being together, and how much I show her respect, how much hard I work and do like that. So I try to set an example of what they should look for in a guy, so they're not influenced just to get with some, guy because he's flashy, says a couple of things to give them, the hot and feels, but how is he going to treat them in the long run?
Right. What kind of advice would you give to fathers who consume this kind of content? What advice would you give? Because I get these questions all the time. And dude, Rollo gets these questions a lot because he has a daughter. What kind of advice would you give the red pill father in terms of not in terms of how to raise his daughters, but how to navigate feminism with what we know to be true and false?
Honestly, I actually have sometimes my girls watch like your stuff, like the breakdown
Really?
with me, so they can see. They see the silliness, they see the craziness. Like with Love Is Blind, my daughter watched the entire breakdown with me when you're going through it, and they're just like, oh my God, these ladies acting like that. She's lying. There's no way that she did that. That's not real. So they I sat them down. I was just like, they watch this stuff with me, and they see it. Sometimes they watch Fresh and Fit, with me, those late night shows.
Wow.
And see the nonsense that goes on.
Holy moly.
I
Okay.
just did it. It wasn't that I sat them down, they just started watching because I watched it, and then that they see it, and they're just like, now that they see the, I guess behind the scenes, they're just like, I'm like, that's how you don't want to act.
Right. Listen, man, Apollo,
So
thanks.
I guess kind of
go ahead.
just exposing them to stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say,
I was just saying kind of exposing them to it.
And did you introduce it to them like, hey, girls, I want you to sit down and watch this? Or did you say, hey, sit down and watch this and tell me what you think?
Yeah, sit down and watch this and tell me what you think.
Okay. All right. Very good. Apollo, thanks for checking in, man. Good advice.
All right. Thanks, Donovan.
All right. Take care. Yeah, it's interesting. So Dev's niece, Olivia, she was with us. She was with us last week for a couple of days. And we're going to get to we still got other callers to get to. Edward in Delaware, you're next. Followed by another couple of callers that we have in the queue. But so I'll never forget this. This is actually recently. And so apparently Olivia, she was dating this boy. She had a boyfriend, cute little teenage love. And for whatever reason, they broke up. And she was talking about how her friends were telling her how he was, because apparently her ex-boyfriend said that she wasn't a good girlfriend, et cetera, et cetera. And she talked about the fact that it really, really bothered her, right? She's like, it bothers me because I'm not a bad girlfriend. And I remember she asked me specifically, she says, well, Alex, because that's my name. She says, Alex, like what's like why does my ex-boyfriend hate me? I said, Olivia, he does not hate you. She's like, yeah, but he said I was a bad girlfriend. I was like, no. I said, the reason why he said you were a bad girlfriend is because someone asked him about it. And I told her, I said, as teenage boys, we're trying to save face. You know what I mean? We're trying to save face. One of his friends probably asked her, do you even miss Olivia? I don't miss her. She was a bad girlfriend. And so I explained to her, I said, the opposite of love, Olivia, is not hate, it's indifference. I said, because think about it. If someone were to ask you about your ex-boyfriend right now, right, what would you say? And then she told me what she said. I said, think about this. And this girl is 14 years old now. I said, think about this. And I actually talked to her pretty plainly. I said to her, I said, the fact of the matter is that your ex-boyfriend talking about you means that he's not over you. And she says to me, yeah, but I'm over him. I'm like, no, you're not. And it's okay that you're not. I said, because you guys are talking about each other. Then I hit her with this. I was like, you take any given woman, right? Sally, what was your ex-boyfriend or ex-husband like? I said, well, if Sally is over her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband, she'd be like, oh, I don't know, I haven't really heard from him. But if she's not over him, oh my God, I can't believe he treated me like this and blah, 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 because he still elicits feelings within her. And it was like a light bulb went off in her head. She's like, oh my God, that's the best advice I've ever heard. And I said, well, Olivia, this is why I do what I do. I said, this is the kind of advice that I give on a daily basis. And she was utterly blown away. So when kids get to us, listen, kids aren't stupid. Kids aren't stupid. There are certain things that we can explain to them at appropriate ages that they will be able to comprehend. And I was glad to be able to do that. I was glad I was able to do that for her. Give her a little bit of give her a little bit of peace, in other words. Okay, let us go. Hang on a second. Let us go to Edward in Delaware. Edward in Delaware, you are on Live with Donovan. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to let you know that you're the man, Donovan. Keep up all your good work, especially with your breakdowns and everything. It's next level.
Thank you. Thank you.
Often I'll watch certain things, and I like to kind of do what you do, and then I'll take your stuff and overlap it and watch it, with the F&F gang and Kevin Daniels and everything else like that.
Edward?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead. The last thing I heard you say was Kevin Samuels.
I was saying, when you do the breakdowns, I'll watch the show before you even do the breakdowns, and then I'll watch the breakdowns again because I spend time driving around in the truck. So
good.
I'll listen to it, and your breakdowns are next level. They're really tight. And with the F&F gang, Walter, Fresh, he's been calling himself a pastor. I'm going to have to call up and give him a little blessing so he can actually be Pastor Fresh. So at least he can see 3 or 4 off of him.
I'm telling you, man, I don't know if you've noticed this, Edward, but Fresh is really getting much better on the air. He's getting a lot, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So a lot of people put down Fresh a lot.
They do.
And, I mean, at first I could see why.
Sure.
But then really it's kind of like, with anything in life, you need to examine it a little bit more and look at it from a different perspective. And really, a lot of the times, I don't know if you noticed this, but Fresh will start just laughing and then stop it right then and there, just like full brakes on.
Like that doesn't,
like, oh snap, this man, he's practicing his stoicism. So is Myron.
Yep.
Like Myron's patience is next level.
He's the king, dude.
These guys are really breaking it down. There's like these 3 or 4s. It's like throwing them into a grinder. They break down everything with with fast accuracy.
Yes.
And
in real time.
I mean, like people really hate them in real time, and it's right there. And that's why people want to duplicate and try to recreate something that they got. But these boys got it on lock. They make Miami, look good right now.
I'm proud of them, man. And I love, dude, Fresh, dude, you're right. Fresh, he catches hate. He catches more hate than I do. But the funny thing is he never lets it get to him, at least not that I've seen. Because anytime somebody puts out a hit piece about Fresh or Fresh is a fraud, he just shrugs it off and buys another Lambo.
No, I was going to say, you got 2 Lambos down.
You feel me?
Lambo he has with the blue and orange, he's stunting. That's why I wanted to get on him about, pray these Jezebels away.
Press Fresh.
All they're going to want is to jump in the Lambo. I mean, that chain is looking nice.
I love it.
Dressing nice, even though he's not wearing their gear.
Never.
With those Lambos and the dog, you hook, line, and sinker. People can say whatever they want about Fresh, but you know what? The F&F gang has been doing one thing that every man should do. Don't worry about the haters.
Yeah.
Let the results speak for themselves.
That's right.
And that's why I like with you guys and them. I appreciate your time, Donovan.
Edward in Delaware, thanks for checking in, man. I appreciate it.
No problem at all. Have a good day.
You too, man. Yeah, I could not be more proud of Walter Weeks, man. And the reason he catches so much hate is because the reason he catches so much hate is because these guys are envious. This guy has a speech impediment. English is not his first language. He's an island boy, came from Barbados, and he has more than they do. Been in the States for just a few years, and he's accomplished more than they have. That's exactly why. And Fresh is absolutely a low-key sniper, man. He's man, oh man. I remember this one time. This is the first time I saw it. He was like they were talking about, oh, the clean your spot, clean his spot. And Fresh on the snake tip, he says, you know, just by seeing that, I knew you were gonna be a cat lady. I was like, oh shit. He said, just by you saying that, you're gonna be a cat. I can tell you're gonna be a cat lady. I was like, the fuck? And nobody caught that. Nobody caught that, but I did. I was like, oh, Fresh just cooked this bitch right next to her. So shout out to Fresh Prince CEO, man. Let's go to Jersey Dog. Jersey Dog, you're on Live at Donovan, and you go ahead.
Hey, Donovan, big fan.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hey, a couple of thoughts. At what point, and going back to the Rihanna thing and how artists influence our kids, at what point does the art influence the children versus the vice versa?
Ooh, okay. Expound on that. That's a good question.
Like when we were coming up, all right, so when we were coming up in high school and we were looking to be more like the kids that partied hard in the 70s and 80s, our role models from yesteryear.
Right.
You know the story, like, did you hear Rod Stewart got his stomach pumped backstage? And,
Yeah.
Saw her. Yeah. So there was gossip.
Sure.
But coming through the ages with the intimacy now, they had agents manage these people's personas. But now that we can get really intimate with them, like they can share their thoughts at the snap of a finger.
Right.
It's become different, managing these people and their personalities and their brands. So when they're showing everybody of all ages the damage in their personal lives, and that's where I see these role models have completely deteriorated values.
Yes.
That we would aspire to. Right. So that's one thing. Look, I got a 20-year-old in college, and I feel like I'm the singular point of reason in her entire existence.
Wow.
I'm the only one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you fight that?
That's a very good question. I'm not a father, but how old are your children, if you don't mind me asking?
I've got a 20-year-old daughter.
Yeah, the only thing that I know to do, and let me ask, actually, you know what, Jersey Dog? I'm going to take another call here. I'm going to keep you on the line. Apollo, if you're still watching, if you would call in, I can put you on with Jersey Dog to sort of answer this question, because I think Apollo is much more qualified to answer that than I am, and I think he can give you some insight. So if you don't mind staying on hold, I'll wait for Apollo to call in, and then I'll put you guys both on, all right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, very good. Yeah, that's a very, very good question, because like if you're the only reasonable person, in your kid's life, and dude, his daughter is 20 years old. She's 20 years old, so there's still time. There is absolutely still time to positively influence her. And so what he wants to know, and if Apollo, if you're still watching, please give me a call. Give me a call. Jump on the lines. I would love to hear that conversation between the two of you. Let's see. Let's go to King in Colorado. King in Colorado. You're on Live with Donovan. What's on your mind?
What's up, Donovan, man? Yeah, Rihanna is not good for black women at all.
No, sir.
At all. She's already talking about how children should raise themselves. And then also in the same breath says that if the child doesn't like fashion, that's not my child. And so I'm like, okay, so it's pretty much child can do whatever they want to do as long as they abide by your rules and fitting image of you.
Jesus Christ, man.
And other things on top of that, it's just she pretty much wants black women to be more they're already exposing themselves too much, but now she wants them to expose themselves pregnantly in all their glory, as if that's not just for the man that the seed of the man that they're carrying, for one.
Yeah.
It's like not every man wants not every man wants you to see all of that. That is for you and your man. That is
Right.
a special thing, and it's completely gonna backfire. And then I feel like this is gonna jump on to other things in other communities, and then it's become a war to see who could do what could do who qualifies who for what. And we already got the secretary that doesn't know what and who is.
Right.
Can't define a definite term, so it's definitely going to get a lot worse. On top of course, A$AP Rocky
Yeah.
might be beta, just typically based off of Rihanna's a millionaire, but I don't think women are ever going to really like accept that or see that for what that is.
Yeah.
Just because they look up to it. So yeah, a lot of these topics are really, they're based in hypocrisy
Yes.
in the Black community for the most part. It's just people want to point fingers as if they're better, but then when the topic's flipped and you can pin it on them in a different manner, in a different way, because they can't think outside the box
Yes.
in a more category or subject their thinking to a higher cause, then they just get stuck continuing the same loop. So,
Yeah, it's almost like a
definitely not.
it's a circular self-fulfilling prophecy. It's almost like, you've heard the saying, King, the more things change, the more they stay the same, right?
Oh, of course. We all hear Black women saying, "Oh, I'm gonna break generational curses." Yeah, I'm gonna go to work
Jesus,
and break
bride.
generational curses, and then you're like, "Okay, your grandmama, was she married? No. Was your mama married? No.
Nope.
But I'm breaking generational curses right now." I'm like, okay, you think you're gonna go down the same path, and you're gonna be and have a Lamborghini and have all of that, and then you're gonna end up 40 years old in a duplex living by yourself, and then you're gonna wonder, what happened? Where's all the good men? Why
Right.
am I not choosing them? And he's like, okay, I mean, you were breaking generational curses, but you didn't see the biggest one because you were too selfish.
That's right.
One, and it's just a lot of the idea of wife. Just a lot of women, they just want the title, but not the job.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
yes. Yes.
CEO, but I don't do anything but sleep and spend money. That doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
Like, you can't be the CEO if you don't do anything but sleep and spend money. You're going to get kicked off the panel.
That's right.
So I'd kick you off the panel. So,
Well, King,
yeah,
I appreciate you.
It's definitely going downhill.
Well, I appreciate you calling in and giving us your thoughts, man. Thanks for the support.
Thanks for having me, Donovan. Stay up, my guy.
All right, man. King in Colorado, dropping the knowledge. Jersey Dog. It doesn't. I think Apollo is probably busy, or he's probably gotten somewhere where he probably can't make a phone call. Let me ask you this here, JD. In terms of so your daughter's 20 years old. You said she's in college.
Yes.
Okay, and she, I guess, is a sophomore or a junior.
She's going to graduate early, so I guess a junior.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's really bright.
Okay, good.
She's gifted with money. I don't know if it's a typical situation, but it's like this. I don't know much about her sex life. I didn't ask. It was something that, like everybody else, they're like, "Oh, no one's going to date my daughter." But when you really get into it, it doesn't really shake out like that, because you love them and you want them to have a life. But I think what happened, and the reason that these kids gravitate towards these horrible role models is, well, for one thing, my marriage is ending. It was an absolute S show.
Okay.
Very bad role models, So she's thinking, she talks about, I ask her about having a family, and my whole position is, if you have an opportunity to lock down a high-value guy, and I broke down, the biological imperative, and
right.
I red pilled her as best as I could.
Good.
But she's not into it. It's sad to me. I'm thinking I'm not going to have a legacy. The whole point of kids is to, see your genes bopping around as you phase out of the world. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not probably going to see that. And I'd like to think that I'm having a good influence, but it'll probably be too late by the time she's, able to see my wisdom. She'll be old.
Oh man. So what makes you think that she's not? What makes you think it's not sinking in? Is it her actions? Is she just blowing you off?
Kind of. Well, it's okay. I blew off my old man and stuff.
Oh,
my old man had a saying. He said he was amazed how much smarter his dad became when he went from 30 to 40.
There you go. See that?
And
That's
it's
funny.
different for us. Look, I look at it like this, man. You know, we're in a shifting dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through some economic turmoil a little bit here and there, but for the most part,
Sure.
everything kept going up during our entire lives.
Okay.
And during our lives, the prices of houses where everyone lives have gone out of reach.
Oh my
That's
God.
pretty new.
Yeah.
You know, the inflation is what they're talking about now, but behind the scenes, all these years, our purchasing power has been going down. So we're finally telling our kids en masse in this country, right?
Yeah.
We can't provide for you. You're on your own.
Yeah.
So we've made them solipsistic and selfish.
Ooh,
and on top of that, with the internet and the craziness that's going on with sharing their thoughts. I mean, whatever happened to, you know, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. Or
Yeah, I
mind
remember
your own
that.
Business. Now it's like, right? Now it's like, this is my business and you need to respect it and I need likes. And like, oh man, it's crazy out there.
Wow. Unbelievable, man.
So I don't blame her for not wanting to bring kids into this crazy ass world.
Sure.
I almost thought it myself. But, you know, happy accident.
Well, that's,
And
I mean,
took
of
on the
course.
responsibility.
Okay. So your daughter
I'm-
she seems to be a well-adjusted kid. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like she's got a pretty good head on her shoulders.
For the day and age, but I would have liked her to be excited to carry on the family line, and that's where I have most of my regrets in life. That's my
Yeah.
failing, because I didn't do
Yeah.
a good job making that seem like an awesome deal.
We all have regrets, man, but you know, I mean, it's better, you know what women say, it's better to regret something you did than something you didn't, right?
Right, but you know, is it any wonder that they're idolizing these broken people that have their business out online
course.
24/7?
Yeah.
Do you see that creepy thing with Madonna recently? She had some
yes.
weird face surgery done. It's like,
Dude,
you know,
what
back in
is
the day, what the hell, right? And this is the minds we're producing. You know, it's like, oh, that's cool. Could you imagine your kid acting like that?
Oh, dude, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Oh my God. But when you say, can you imagine your kid? I'm thinking about Olivia. Oh my God, no way, man. Oh my God. Ugh.
So how do we make these people normal in such crazy times?
I think. Listen, I think if I were you, I would just drop her. Just drop your daughter a link. Drop her a Kevin Samuels link. Drop her a Fresh and Fit link. I wouldn't drop. I don't know. I guess you could have her. I guess you could just have. I'll put it to you like this. I'll give you sort of a list. And so I want to make sure. And you can go back and watch this because I don't have any way really to write this down. So what's so the channels that she needs to subscribe to are Kevin Samuels and Fresh and Fit. You don't want her to get too far into the weeds. Now, she also needs female role models. So get her to subscribe to Real Femme Sapien. Get her to subscribe to Lula Johnson. And get her to subscribe to Pearl Davis as well. The reason I say Pearl Davis is because she was raised very, very traditionally, and she has a very healthy respect for men, even though she's now in London, which is a feminist hotbed. So those are the channels that I would say, hey, these are some interesting things. You and I have had these discussions. Listen, you don't have to, but it would really make me happy if you would just give these a look. And if you have any questions or concerns about it, give me a call and we'll talk about it. As long as so long as you can open up a dialogue between you and your kid, and try not to be judgmental, try to be sort of a safe space for her to come and talk to you about this stuff. That's the best you can do, because you can't force. Listen, your daughter's an adult. You can't force her to do anything. She doesn't belong to you. You don't own your kids. All you can really do is just be the best influence on her as you can.
Oh, for sure. Look, it's like this, man. I don't judge her, and I don't force her. There was she's like, look, I need some money. I'm like, look, I'm tapped. I don't know what to tell you. Get a job.
Right.
She's like, all right. So I can get a crappy job at a store, or I can get a job at the college bar. And I said, I absolutely forbid you. Over my dead body, you're going to get the job at the bar.
That's right.
And I'm paying for the car and the insurance. That's running me $600 a month, and I'm not rich. You know what I'm saying? That's a big sacrifice. But I wanted her to be mobile and kind of have a life like I had.
Yeah. You want to take care of her. That makes sense.
So what do you think she does? She gets the job at the bar.
Oh.
And this takes me, and my explanation was, like, I get it's a college bar, but you never know if there's some psycho or some crazy violent incel or, the things that we worry about.
Yeah.
I don't know. And she did it anyway, and I said, what are you doing to me? You're putting me in a no-win position. What am I supposed to do? Withhold?
Yeah.
Love? Withhold
right.
finance?
Right.
She called my bluff. And it was from that moment on, she rejected me as a father, but I remained her friend.
Okay, and you know what? It's interesting, Jersey Dog. I forgot who told me this. I might have seen it on a commercial. Oh, no, it was actually Colin Cowherd. He says, "Listen, man, when your kids are toddlers and preteens, you're supposed to be the parent, but after they become who they become, you're really more of a consultant. So maybe in the future, maybe don't forbid her to do something, but by the same token, understand that being a bartender at a bar is a lot more exciting than being a cashier at Walgreens. And a woman her age is going to do what's going to be the most exciting, and she'll probably make more money at the bar. So, unfortunately, that's the decisions that they make."
And it's not to say that there might be some low-key psycho working the night shift at any job she takes anyway.
Exactly.
At
That's exactly right. And working at a bar, she's more likely to have access to security. Whereas at Walgreens or CVS, nobody ever robs a Walgreens or a CVS or stalks outside of there. So at least there will be men around. Jersey Dog, I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Let us go to Jay Sean in Ohio. Jay Sean in Ohio, what's going on, brother?
What's up, my dog? So I'm calling to talk about, I'm basically proving the stereotype. I'm here sitting, eating watermelon, and I'm about to ask you, why are black people so easily influenced? Like, if you look at the role models of a lot of these women, their role models are trash.
Yeah.
And I want to know, like, why the worse the role model, the more they drag to it. Why is that?
Yeah, the reason why, Jay Sean, is because today's role models, and I've said this before, and I think you'll agree, and I think we might have had this conversation when you and I were riding around in Miami. Being a stay-at-home mom it's a thankless job. Okay, it is a thankless job. It's very fulfilling, but sleeping around and living the party life is so much more exciting than being a stay-at-home mom. Young people especially want to do what appears to be more exciting. And of course, being a stay-at-home mom is really just kind of chastised, while sleeping around is glorified. And so girls being raised, they're thinking, well, wait a minute, the world is telling me to go out here and have fun and do this and that, and it looks more exciting. So just like with Jersey Dog's daughter, you can either work at a Walgreens or a CVS, or you can work at the bar where there are boys and money and out. Well, of course she's going to choose to work at the bar because it's simply more exciting. So the reason why girls gravitate to role models like Cardi B and the Kardashians and Megan Thee Stallion is because that lifestyle is much more exciting. And young people, unfortunately, it's marketed to them in such a way that exciting life is what's right for them. And listen, you and I, we've talked about the fact that you told me that the music is what really influences people and the way things are shot. This is exactly this is how they push the propaganda, the feminist propaganda, is they create these commercials, this content that makes it sound and feel so right. No wonder these girls on Fresh and Fit will fight tooth and nail for their right to sleep around. So the short answer to your question, Jay Sean, is the reason why girls gravitate towards role models like this is because these role models, they're living a life that is much more exciting than being a stay-at-home mom. That's the only thing I can tell you.
That is wild and profound at the same time.
Yes, it is, man.
What would it take for us to switch from this gynocentric society to being more patriarchal?
It's gonna have to get worse before it gets better. We're gonna have to hit rock bottom. We're gonna have to hit a historic low in terms of birth rates, in terms of marriage. Because listen, birth rates are dropping, marriage rates are dropping. Men and women are not in most men and most women are not in relationships. right? Like all of the girls on Fresh and Fit, single, 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 single. You know what I mean? Most people, I mean, as far as I know, most people aren't in relationships. At some point, Jay Sean, if now there's going to be male birth control coming out, we got girls getting their tubes tied and all that, eventually we're going to run out of people. I don't know, maybe 20, 40 years from now, maybe maybe they do like a census. Oh, wait a minute. We've gone from 7 billion people in the world to 5.5 billion. How in the world did we lose, 27% of our population in just 4 decades? At some point, someone is going to say, wait a minute. This is the reason. This is a culture of death. That's the reason I can think of. It's going to have to get worse before it gets better. We're going to have to hit rock bottom. That's the only way. And it was funny. My kid brother asked me this question on the phone today. I said, I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but in order for things to really change, things have got to hit rock bottom. Real talk.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. It's a shame that things have to go so far south for it to go so far right,
It's crazy, man. This is the human condition, I mean, you know what they say, that the great thing about hitting rock bottom, the only way to go is up, so.
True. All right, man. Well, I'm not going to take much of your time. I got some new fire that I'm sending to you tonight.
Woo! Yes, sir!
I'll text you, and I'm sure you'll like it.
All right, man. Appreciate you calling in. Jay Sean in Ohio. Man, dude, get an email from him. And by the way, Jay Sean he is officially the videographer for the CME. He also shot, cut, and edited. The promotional, the 1 minute promotional, and he's got some more stuff. When he sends me an email, I can't wait to see this stuff. It's all very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. Very much looking forward to getting that. I just got some really crappy news. We are bowling against the first place team tonight. And they're the guy who is the best bowler on their squad, he's the best bowler in our league. His average, I think, is right at like a 204. That guy is awesome. So we're going to have to really, really bring our A game. All right, let's go to Johnny in Chicago. Johnny in Chicago, you're on Live at Donovan. What's on your mind? And please turn down your radio.
Hi, Donovan. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Well, that's great. Rihanna's pregnancy is really bad news for single women all around because they really think that they are her.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
That's insane. I almost don't get it myself. You should understand that, like, her quote unquote value is not equivalent to yours.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
And
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is that women think that if they act like men, if they make the same money as men, that their value is the same as a man's. It never works that way, which is why women end up single. They're like, "Oh my God, I thought I was going to all this education and money and stuff. I thought that this was going to make me happy, and it ends up not making them happy." It really is sad.
Yeah, that's terrible. Also, I have a little quick story to tell you about what happened to me just a few days ago.
Let's do it.
Okay. A few days ago, I had a really pivotal point with women.
Okay.
Because I was talking to this girl. We've been knowing each other for 5 years, and allegedly I took her virginity. And ever since then, she saw me change from a blue pill beta to the red pill guy that I am now, and she did not like it.
Okay.
And it really challenged me because my blue pill conditioning was telling me, be with this woman.
Right.
If you do what she said, she'll love you. And then my other side was like, leave her. She's not good for you.
Good.
And then my final words to her were, I don't need you anymore. Buy a dog, die alone.
I'll give you a Don DeMarco for that one. Johnny in Chicago with the mic drop. He said, "Bye, dog. I'm die alone." How tall are you? Mm-hmm. Your dress size? Your dress size? I remember the bitch yesterday. We not gonna do the Kevin Samuels thing. All right, bet. All right, let us go to last caller of the day. Let's go to Lewis. Hang on a second. Let us go to Lewis in Minnesota. Lewis in Minnesota. You're on Live with Donovan. What's on your mind, man?
What's cracking, man?
Not too much, brother.
Look, man, this masculinity has been under attack for a long time now.
Yes, it has.
What these women are afraid of is the fact that we are fighting back. We are pushing back, and we have far more ammunition to use against them than they have against us.
Yep.
It's a big part of it. There are people like you. There are people like Fresh and Fit, like Kevin Samuels, that are leading the charge, and they have been, and even Obsidian, Mumia Ali, and so on. Some of these people, and I'm sitting back and I'm watching this, and I'm amazed that these women are, like everyone has pointed out, they still believe in the hype that if I get a good education, I have all of these traits, but I don't take care of myself physically, I make myself insufferable, and so forth, that the men are still going to come out of nowhere. Well, these women are learning the hard way that, yeah, sure, I'll come around and knock it down a couple of times, but after that, no.
I'm out.
Marriage, no. Yep. Pop the smoke. I'm out. Last but not least, these women that have children out of wedlock. Now, Obsidian made a post on Facebook regarding men traveling overseas.
Okay.
Saying that the rates of single motherhood overseas is just as bad, if not worse.
That's right.
But what Obsidian fails to understand is that those of us that have lived overseas, myself included, the women treat you like a man. They allow you to live in your masculine. They're not trying to emasculate you and make you less of a man.
That's right.
That's the part that a lot of people seem to miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, man.
Does that make sense?
Dude, listen, that makes perfect sense. I think what men have to understand, and listen, shout out to Obsidian. He's a smart guy. No love lost between the two of us. But you're absolutely right. What Obsidian fails to realize is that, yes, there are single moms all around the world. But the United States, the Western world in general, we get the lowest return on our investment when it comes to women. When it comes to single moms, we're already in the red when we commit to a single mom, right? You commit to the average Western woman, you're already behind the eight ball. If she happens to have kids, you're screwed. Whereas if you go overseas, okay, she has another kid, but just like you said, the payoff is in exchange, she actually treats you like a man. She actually appreciates you. She doesn't feel entitled to your attention and resources. I'll give you the last word, Lewis.
She actually brings something to the table.
There you go.
What modern men are starting to see, unfortunately, is that marriage in the Western world is a booby trap.
Oh man, you are not lying.
I am not gonna willfully walk into an ambush. That's
right.
Stupid.
No.
But that is what's happening in modern Western society.
Yeah, man.
But there's guys like you. There's guys like Kevin, Mumia, Guapo, and so on that are leading the charge and inspiring us to fight back. When these women start finding themselves dying alone, when these women find themselves constantly in places where men frequent and men ain't giving them what they want, maybe, just maybe, they'll be brought back to heel. And I'll say this, and I'm done because I know you're trying to get off the air here.
Okay, take your time, man.
Men built the world that women inhabit.
That's right.
There was a link that I was reading earlier, and even the Bible kind of tells that story. And I would be long-winded. I'd have to put the link in the chat, and I'll let you go and read it.
Okay.
But again, if women actually control the world, which is what they're vying to do, nothing will get built. We will fall apart at the seams. It's not in a woman's nature to build. Women don't understand the first thing about building.
Right.
You dump a bunch of them on an island, just like in that show. I think.
Oh, Bear Grylls. Yeah. Kevin Samuels talks about it all the time. Yeah, Bear Grylls season 2. It was men versus women. The women were an abject disaster.
Oh, I saw it. And I'm like, wow. Now, even with women trying to do the job of a man in the military and infantry, the Marines conducted an experiment with a female company, or actually a female platoon of soldiers.
Okay.
That female platoon of Marines versus a male platoon of Marines doing the exact same job. The men left them in the dust.
Of course they did.
The women were able to accomplish the task, but they at a much slower rate. The men literally hot-footed it, left them in the dust. Army combat fitness test that has been put in place, and I've been retired for a few years. That right now is kicking the shit out of women because the majority of the people failing that test, most of the exercises in that test are women, and they're already griping to Congress that it's not fair. The test was put in place as a standard. This is a standard. It is gender neutral. This is what you wanted. So here you go.
Hey, man.
Either you pass or you don't.
Listen, they wanted equality. See, women only want equality, quote unquote, when it benefits them, right? They want, just like what one of the callers said before, and I forget which one. Women want the title, but they don't want the responsibility, and that's what the difference is. A woman wants to be a Marine without actually having to be a Marine. Lewis in Minnesota, thanks for chiming in, and please drop that link in the chat. I would really be interested in that. That is going to do it for the 846th edition of TSR Live. Thank you to everyone who super chatted and called in. We are about to go and hopefully kick some ass in bowling. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.